Welcome to the October 11th Rotary Club of Columbus program. We begin with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'm going to ask Wayne to lead us in prayer.
Thank you, Tom. I think every one of us are aware that all the tragedy that's occurring in the Middle East, and I think one of the key things for us around the world is to pray for that situation and then others like it. Oh God, we gather here in this place. We are grateful for the peace that you provide as well as the food you supply. We are very aware that there are people who are suffering immensely around the world, and especially in the Middle East and in Israel. We ask for your divine hand, redeem, restore, renew. In the name of Almighty God, amen. Amen. Remember the can and all that you can do.
Thank you. Okay, Ben is going to bring us the news today.
Thank you, President Tom. Today is October 11th, and here are your headlines. Israel at war with Hamas under unprecedented attack. Israel has declared war on Hamas following the group's extensive attack via air, sea, and land, resulting in over 1,000 deaths in Israel. In retaliation, Israel initiated airstrikes on Gaza, leading to the death of at least 900 people. As Hamas militants retreated, they claimed to have taken dozens of hostages and threatened their safety in the event of unwarned airstrikes on Gaza. The International Committee watches closely, hoping for swift de-escalation and peace efforts. Republicans to hold closed-door vote to decide next Speaker of the House. House Republicans have gathered over the past 3 days to discuss new rules for the election of the House speakers, to hear from the candidates hoping to replace McCarthy, and vote on the next Speaker of the House. The race was triggered after Representative Matt Gaetz made a motion to vacate the chair of Speaker and won a majority vote against McCarthy. Rush South and Kayaking World Tournament here in Columbus, Georgia. The ICF Freestyle Kayaking World Championship is taking place as we speak, set to conclude with the Rush South Music Festival this weekend. This major kayaking event has attracted hundreds of competitors from numerous countries, highlighting Columbus on a global stage and infusing the weekend with an electric international energy. The combined festivities promise to make Columbus the place to be, merging world-class sports and music in a unique celebration. And finally, it was on this date in 1984 that astronaut Catherine Sullivan became the first woman to walk in space. You can expect evening showers today with a high of 74 and a low of 58. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Haley's going to now introduce our guests and visitors today.
Hello and good morning/afternoon, everyone. We have two visiting Rotarians with us today. Adrian Burns from Thomasville Club, and he's a guest of our speaker. And then Tracy Van Norman from the Columbus Club. So glad to have those visiting Rotarians. And then we have many Rotarians who brought guests. Don't forget, you can always invite a guest to also attend our great meetings. Ian and Julie Bond brought their son, David Bond. He's also a professional musician and teacher based in Beijing, China, and a 2008 graduate of CSU. Thank you for being here. Teddy Price brought Gary Murphy. He's with Stripple Hembry, the senior funeral director. Debbie Yates brought Robbie Holt, and Miss Robbie is retired from the Arts and Humanities. We're so glad that you're with us today. Pat Frey brought Charles Jeffries, who is with United Way, who deals with all of their great data. And then we have Anthony Randall, who brought Rick Matson. He is a leadership professor at Auburn and CSU, and he's a company leadership coach from Vanguard 21. So we're so glad to have you here. Let's give all of our guests and visiting Rotarians a round of applause.
And Mike will now introduce our Ralph Puckett Jr. Soldier of the Week, Staff Sergeant Bernard.
Hey, President Tom and fellow Rotarians, it's my privilege to introduce to you this afternoon Staff Sergeant Joe Bernhard. I want to make sure I had that right. Staff Sergeant Bernhard joined the Army in January 2013, arriving at Fort Benning for one station unit training from Poland, Maine, as it is. And his duty assignments, he's been in different parts of the world to include Camp Hovey, Korea, Baghdad, Iraq, and Fort Bliss, Texas. He's served in a variety of positions as a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout, to include an infantry fighting vehicle gunner, a machine gunner, a Humvee driver, a dismounted squad leader, a senior scout, and a drill sergeant. In fact, now he is the reigning drill sergeant of the year at Fort Moore, and he is involved with training other drill sergeants who train our young, newly enlisted soldiers. Staff Sergeant Bernhard's awards include the numerous awards of the Army Commendation Medal, several awards of the Army Achievement Medal, and of course, the Drill Sergeant Badge. He's recently married to his wife, Daisy, and they live here in Columbus, and he personally enjoys running. You know, the Army kind of killed my taste for running and camping, but in his case, he loves running, and he's hoping to do a marathon before his 30th birthday. He is also looking forward to becoming a recipient of the Sergeant Audie Murphy Award, and he's interested in becoming an expert soldier by earning the Expert Soldier Badge. So, Staff Sergeant Bernhard, I've got some things for you here. This is, you can put that in your pocket. That's a Rotary coin to commemorate your visit with us. We have this certificate. You are our Colonel Ralph Puckett Soldier of the Week, and that's a certificate that you can hang with your other certificates. We also have this book written by Colonel Puckett, a professional soldier's notebook for your personal library. And in here, there is a card commemorating the actions that earned him the Medal of Honor. So that will give you that. And then this is cool. You and your wife, especially since you don't have to worry about a babysitter, they have no children yet, you've got the Passport to the Arts, which allows you to have a pair of tickets to any performance at the River Center, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, the Columbus State University Theater Department, the Springer Opera House, and the paid exhibits at the National Infantry Museum. So I'll give you that. Please join me in welcoming Staff Sergeant Joe Bernhard.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the invitation today. It's an honor to meet everybody that I've met so far, some returning members like Mr. Dempsey and General Army Retired, General Donahoe. It's good to see you again. You know, I hear about what the Rotary Club does for not only individuals but also for their families, and it's truly an honor to be here today for lunch. I'm going to keep it short because I know we have an agenda, but I just want to say thanks again.
Staff Sergeant Bernhard, I want to, on behalf of our 280 members, want to again thank you for joining us today. And please take our regards back to your fellow soldiers at Fort Moore. We deeply appreciate what you and they do every day for our country. And you're welcome back anytime. Okay, at this time, Joseph.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. It's my pleasure to introduce a new Rotarian to you today. This is Rachel Morway. She grew up in Atlanta and moved to Columbus about 14 years ago. She graduated from Southeastern University and earned her master's from Liberty University. She came to Columbus to be the worship leader at North Highland Church, but recently joined the Youth Orchestra of Greater Columbus as the executive director. In addition to her bubbly personality, which you will learn here shortly, what we loved about her at the Youth Orchestra is that she grew up playing classical violin. And in her interview, she expressed to us about how she's she's come full circle and is excited to share her love for classical music and the violin with the students of the youth orchestra. She is married to her husband, Jordan, who is a manager at the Chick-fil-A in Columbus Park Crossing, which we have taken advantage of that discount several times already at the youth orchestra. They have an Australian Shepherd and, as she said, a very old kitty cat. So if y'all would please help make welcome Rachel Morway.
It is an honor, and I consider myself somewhat of a native, even though I have not been here my whole life, but I absolutely love Columbus, love what the Rotary is doing in our community, and am very honored to now be considered a Rotarian. Thank you.
Rachel, we're very excited that not only are you a member of our club, but a member of our community, and thank you for bringing your gifts and talents here. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to ask our foundation chair, past President Joe Young, now to present our newest Paul Harris Fellows and multiple Paul Harris Fellows, I guess.
All right, thank you very much, President Tom. President Tom, I'm going to have you escort District Governor André down here to help present some of these awards. So Paul Harris Fellowship, all of you guys know this, but as a reminder, Paul Harris founded Rotary back in 1905, and anybody that gives gift of at least $1,000 to the Rotary Foundation receives an honor recognition of Paul Harris Fellowship. Those that have given $1,000 and have gone beyond that can get Paul Harris plus 1, 2, all the way up the chain. And so we encourage everybody to continue to be at least at what we call a Paul Harris Sustainer, and that is somebody that's committed to giving at least $100 a year to the Rotary Foundation. And so today we get an opportunity to recognize a lot of folks that have reached, different milestones of their giving. And we're going to start with our own President Tom. He gets to be the first honoree. We're going to be awarding him a Paul Harris Fellow. So he gets a nice certificate and a nice pen. And I'm so glad that District Governor André is here to present that to him. Thank you very, very much, President Tom. And I'll let you get back up to the stage there, but and District Governor André, if you'll just stay down here with me. So I'm going to call names of a number of individuals, some of which are not here, but if you are here, when I call your name, if you would please come up and receive your pen. This is for Paul Harris plus 1. So we've got Vern Humphrey. Is Vern around? Pete Jones, Richard Smith, Fred Stepp, Pete Berry, Jeff Beck, Johnny Flakes, and Donna Hicks. So Vern is on his way up here. I'm going to go ahead and call up some additional names. So the Paul Harris plus 2. Well, here let's honor Fred here first. So here's. Paul Harris plus 2. We've got Edgar Chancellor. Myself, Joe Young, Cecil Whitaker, and Ralph Puckett. Paul Harris plus 3. We've got Gene Kemp and Frank Jordan.
I feel like I'm in Hollywood.
And we can do that in a minute. And then Paul Harris plus 4, we have Bill Smith, Lorette Hoover, and Lamar Powers. So we just recognize all of these folks and thank them. They may be listening in online, but we really appreciate the gifts to the foundation and just recognize all of those folks. Oh, Lamar, come on up. And District Governor André, I just want to say this fellow right here has got like 54 years of perfect attendance in Rotary, so he is a legend. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I'm going to ask Ian, as our GRSP Vice Chair, and our GRSP student, Mia, to present our newest Will Watt and Hugh Thomas Jr. Awards.
Well, District Governor André and President Tom, fellow Rotarians, it's a special honor to call the names to recognize a number of new recipients of awards of donations to the GRSP Foundation because, as most of you probably know, but if you don't know, in 1946, the Georgia Rotary Student Program was founded in the Rotary Club of Thomasville, and the district governor is from the Rotary Club of Thomasville. So Mia is going to present the awards along with our district governor. And I'm, like Joe did, I'm just going to call the names. I know Kent is here, so if Kent Ilges, if you would start making your way up here. And I'm not sure if I've seen any of the others, but I will call the names. First of all, for the Will Watt Fellowship, which represents a $1,000 donation to the Georgia Rotary Student Program Foundation, Jimbo Martin, Ashok Naik, Melody Trimble, Philip Thayer, Mac Flowers, and Kent Ilges. So come on, Kent, and receive your plaque from Mia and the district governor. You can stand. There you go. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then we have 2 Hugh Thomas awardees. And Hugh Thomas Award represents a $2,500 contribution to the GRSP Foundation, and that is Rick Alexander and Ernie Smallman. And so any of you guys who aren't here today, who are watching via the live feed, congratulations and thank you for your support of the Georgia Rotary Student Program.
Okay, I have a couple of important announcements for today. We have a special project tonight at the Frank Chester Recreation Center on Benning Drive, and that's from 5:30 to 6:45. We need Rotary members to come and support this project alongside the Boys and Girls Club and the Girls Inc. And we would ask that you dress down because after our little program, we're going to shoot some hoops. So please join us and bring those tennis shoes. The district conference is March the 21st, the 24th. The flyers are in the back, and I think Julie also put them on the table. And also the Dan Reed Award nomination forms are in the back, and that deadline is October 25th. So at this time, I'm going to invite our co-district trainer and RLI chair, Tracy Van Norman, to introduce our speaker today.
Thank you, President Tom. Fellow Rotarians, it's my honor and privilege to announce or introduce our District Governor, André Hadley Marria. André has been a Rotarian since 2005 when she joined the Rotary Club of Thomasville. She served as Youth Services and Foundation chairs prior to serving as club president in 2018-19. As president, André received the District 6900 Sheffield Leadership Award. She is a Paul Harris Fellow, Paul Harris Society member, Major Donor Level 2, Will Watt Fellow, Hugh Thomas Fellow, and Jake Cheatham Fellow. André has also received the Avenues of Service citation from the Rotary Club of Thomasville in 2021. She served as Assistant Governor from 2020 to 2022 and also served as chair of the District 6900 Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. In 2023, André was one of 6 members selected from the world, honored by Rotary International President Jennifer Jones as People of Action, Champions of Inclusion, for her work in helping to create a more inclusive world. She is a graduate of Rotary Zone 3334 Emerging Leaders, 2020 Summit of Champions. She is a member of the International Fellowship of Rotarian Musicians and is a Rotary Leadership Institute discussion leader for RLI Sunshine Division. André spent 34 years serving in public service with the Georgia Department of Human Resources, retiring as the director of the Thomas County Department of Family and Children's Services in November 2008. She is a licensed therapist and a published author. André has received numerous awards and recognitions, including the 2016 John C. Burns III Licensed Professional Counselors Association Lifetime Achievement Award for her 39 years of service and endorsement of the profession of counseling. She is a past trustee of the Thomas County Chamber of Commerce and a 2-time distinguished Toastmaster of Toastmasters International. She is a member of the Licensed Professional Counselors Association of Georgia and a member in good standing of the Thomasville Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. André Hadley Marria graduated from the Fort Valley State University in 1973 with a BS degree in music, and in 1975 with an MS degree in mental health counseling. André's proudest accomplishment was to serve as a 9/11 Ground Zero Red Cross disaster mental health first responder in New York City in 2001. André has been married to evangelist Walter Marria Jr., my friend, for 50 years, and they have 2 birth children, 2 children given by God, and 8 grandchildren. Will you please rise and welcome our District Governor, André Hadley Marria.
Thank you. Please be seated. First of all, I always give honor to my husband who's not here. Walt has been married to me 50 years, so please give him a round of applause. That has not been easy. I always say that he allows me to rise high and he set low. He is certainly the wind beneath my wings, but he asked for the day off. So as for this day, I have Adrian Burns, my sorority sister, my fellow Rotarian, and my mentee, stand up Adrian, who's driving Miss Daisy. That's what Walter calls me today. So thank you. All right, first of all, the energy in the room, you must come up a little bit. Everybody's sedated, and that's not me. I'm on steroids, so you must be on steroids with me, okay? That's the first thing. The next thing you need to know is that all that information that you heard is useless. I'm from Thomasville, Georgia. Country girl, dirt roads, bicycles, and the smell of the cinnamon rolls of Flowers Bakery. Homegrown, Southwest Georgia. Remember that. I want to share with you the vision of our international president, Gordon McAnally, who says that we must create hope in the world. So give your attention to the screen for about 2 minutes.
To all Rotary members across the globe, I'm humbled by the opportunity to serve as Rotary President for 2023 and 2024. In the year ahead, we will make progress towards eradicating polio and create hope in the world through service projects in our areas of focus. But I want to spend a couple of minutes discussing another important way Rotary will create lasting change this year by focusing on mental health. People today are hurting. Many of them don't know how to ask for help. But everyone needs a safe place where people of all ages and in all cultures can share triumphs and open up about life's challenges. Rotary can be that place. In Rotary, we show comfort and care to each other. We invite our members to bring their whole authentic selves. And we move beyond the simple question of, how are you? To ask, how are you really? Research shows that performing acts of kindness is the most effective step anyone can take to protect our sense of well-being and to make us more resilient to all the challenges life throws our way. Mental wellness is deeply personal to me. I know what it's like to see someone close to me suffer through adversity in silence and be eaten up by it. But I have also witnessed the power of personal connections, the value of holding space to discuss emotional and mental well-being, and the life-saving impact of access to preventive care and treatment. So let's work together to erase stigmas, raise awareness and improve access to mental health services, so that together we can support one another and our loved ones, our clubs and our communities, create hope in the world.
That is the message for today. But I'm going to take you on a journey with me in Rotary. On that journey, I want you to put yourself in the driver's seat, and I want you to think about yourself as I share my story. My name is André Marria, and I am also known as a lady with a song. Who am I known as? A lady with, you weren't listening. I told you we were going to be on steroids. Who am I? I am a lady with a song. I am who? A lady with a song. And I have this theme for our conference, Amplify Rotary, some of you have it on your table, with this lady with a song. And the reason of that is because at one time, I wrote this book called The Songs I Could Not Sing. What is it? The Songs I Could Not Sing. I am not selling it today, so do not look for it anywhere. You will hear about me rather than read about me. It starts with your why in Rotary. What is your why in Rotary? If you cannot identify it now, I ask that you sit with yourselves as I talk about my why in Rotary and tell you a story on this journey. You see, my why is to help structure and to restore life's most precious designs, which for me would be children and their families. That is my why. When my feet hit the floor in the morning, I know why I'm getting up. I know that I'm 72 and I have miles to go before I sleep, and I do my work in Rotary. What is your work in Rotary? Our international president says that we create hope And we do that by looking at the mission that we said, the vision, together. We see a world where people unite to take action, to make lasting change across the globe, in the community, and in ourselves. And we do that by knowing our why. Start my PowerPoint. Now, what is my why again? To help structure and to restore what? Life's most precious design. Why did I choose that? In the 7 areas of focus of Rotary is child and maternal care. That's the work that I do in Rotary. It starts with my why. It starts with André being broken, coming from a place of brokenness to a place of hope to a place of knowing. And in Rotary, it helped me complete that journey. The broken girl was at age 9 when her family was destroyed by alcoholism. My mother had her own business back in the 50s, and so did my dad. She was a cosmetologist. He was an automotive repairman, and they had their own businesses. President of the PTO. I got emails from the North Pole delivered by Western Union to my house. And then, all of a sudden, I realized that the world in which I was living was not the world that I grew up in. There was raining in the roof of my house, and you could see it from anywhere. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. And give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. And so I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Knowing to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. My why. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and help them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. That's my why. Do you know your why in Rotary? If you do not know your why, recommit. I do the work in Rotary because I understand brokenness, having been broken in my family. Now, let's do a little laughing with that. When you become broken, you heal. You see, you become stronger in the broken places. This morning, when this young man was up talking about redeeming, renewing, and restoring, that's creating hope in the world. That's what we do in Rotary. Gordon says that there are some things that we need to do to prepare for that, okay? And preparing for that is to know where you're going, to have a plan. You know, Alice in Wonderland and the Cheshire Cat, they had this conversation, remember? Well, where you going, Alice? No. You can just take about in a road to go if you don't know. In Rotary, you have achieved so much because you're big, and you have the will, and you know the way. What can I tell you that you don't already know in Rotary in here? I can tell you two things. One thing is that do not be content with where you are. Look at this room, look at the age of the folks in here, and see whether or not we're preparing for the next generation. The second thing I want to leave with you is this, not leave right now, is this. There is a writer who once says, a candle divine are you and I, that God has sent below. Like earthly stars, noble to light the trail that all must go. So candle divine, lift how your flame and let others share your spark, lest you and I behold too late the trail before us dark. There is so much more that we can do. I need my slides to go bam, 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 because he gave me only 20 minutes. Listen at this. Gordon says that you do that by planning. In this organization, we need to plan for leadership, a change of leadership. He talks about continuity and change. All of us who've worked realize we don't hear about strategic planning. We've done with that, gotten our T-shirts. But what about the next generation that we're preparing? Have we showed them through our will and our way? Have we shown them our passion, our purpose, and our plan in Rotary? Have we talked to them about how we have lived and struggled with the four-way test? There's work for us to do, miles before we sleep, Rotarians in Columbus, Georgia. Look at also, click, 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 you gotta move faster. Look also at what he says as it relates to continuity. Building a team. You know, Tom is leaving. I'm sure that he has someone who's replacing him. But do we have someone to replace that? When I walk into a club and I look at all the members and they look like me and I'm 72, I said, something is wrong in the room. We need to look at how we can change the perspective of the room in terms of membership. You know, membership is the lifeblood of any organization, and in success planning, we have to plan for our future leaders. We have to realize that there are many who's walking wounded like I was when I realized that my family was destroyed by alcoholism. You know, I was a bad kid. I was mad. You hit my dog, I kill your cat. That's how bad it was. In school, I didn't get mad, I got even. Have you seen those people in the world who live and walk that way and we see them? Gordon says that we need to ask, how are you doing really? Not just how are you doing. If you notice, I worked the room today. I walked around every table and I said, hi, my name is André, I might get to see you. That's a personal extension of who we are. Have we reached out and really touched somebody else's hand to show them that there is a way that they maybe can do something differently? Membership is the lifeblood of any organization. In order for us to gain members, we're going to have to put ourselves out there to reach out and touch. Reach out and touch. Now, this is Andre's story. Reaching out and touching is not easy sometimes. This same André broke into her counselor's office and stole her transcript so she could go to school. You can laugh at that. I did. I was a little criminal. And Walter saved me. Now, I got caught by the counselor because my counselor told me that I did not have what it took to go to school. And the reason why she did is because my grades were D's. I graduated with a D average, but I wanted to go to college. How about that? But guess what? Academically, I might have had D's because of life and struggles. My ability to take scholastic tests showed that there was more in me. How many of us have looked at the presence of a person and missed their essence? The outside dress told us one thing, but the internal message was something different. Somebody saw something at me at the Fort Valley State University. Yeah, the Fort Valley State. Somebody looked at that transcript and said, you know what, this girl here, this doesn't go with that. I mean, she got all these D's up here, but look at this down here. Somebody gave me a chance. How many of us are reaching out, giving other chances in Rotary? Now, I know we're selective in members, and we want to know who we want in Rotary. But think about the talents, the gifts, and the abilities that people who don't think like us bring. So leadership must reflect the population it serves. Repeat after me. Leadership must reflect the population it serves. Let's make sure we bring some leaders to represent our population, okay? Say amen. We're in church right now. All right, so here we go with that. Not only does he talk about that, he talks about the fact that in Foundation, only 1 out of 13 Rotarians give. 1 out of 13. I was so happy to see the Paul Harris Fellows this morning. So many GRSP. You are giving to the foundation. You're giving back. That money goes to help this project that I'm going to see this afternoon. It helps us lift up the underestimated and the underserved in populations that we have. Now, let me tell you something about that. Most of the people out there want help, not a hand. I don't believe in taking care of people. I worked for the Department of Family and Human Services for 34 years, and I retired at DFACS. And none of my people in DFACS was on welfare. I got them off. All right, clap for that, because that was pretty good. Now, at that time, you had to have a job. So I had boots on the grounds going out there to Wendy's, going out to Popeyes, going out to the Waffle House, helping these women find jobs. A supervisor must be a servant to lead. I know y'all don't know that. Everybody thinks you're supposed to sit in offices. No, you work. We have to teach that ethic to other people so that we can give them help and not a handout. In Rotary, that's what we do in our third world countries. That's what we do here. That's what I'm going to see this afternoon. You guys are helping others learn leadership. So I challenge you, especially those who are my generation, to show the way, tell your struggles, because it hasn't always been easy. We've had some hard knocks along the way. Gordon talks about also that not only that we need to work together in our committees. You know, right now you may have one chairman of this and one chairman of that. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. How many of y'all play football? How many of y'all like football? How many of y'all are Georgia fans? Go Dogs. How many of you are Florida? How many are Auburn? Okay, but all of y'all like sports. Say yes. Roll Tide. All right? Now, you spend that money to go to games. $100? No, a little bit more if you have your libations. So I'm asking to consider giving a little bit more. Our international past president, Gordon, will be, not Gordon, but Barry Rasslin will be our leaders at the district conference. He's asked each district to give $1 million. I asked him, had he lost his mind? But guess what? I'm crazy enough to think that we can raise the $1 million so that we can do the work here and in the other countries that we have. When you think about looking at innovative projects, I think that we look at projects wherein how we can bring more people in here, changing how we do our business every day, changing how we socialize. You know, I go into places all the time, and people say, "Hi, my name is glad to meet you." But there's nothing after hello. There's nothing after hello. It's called reaching beyond the hellos and saying, how are you really? How are you really? You know, being married to Walter for 50 years, he went through a lot. My mom died, and we had to take my sister in. We were only married 4 months. My sister never knew the family that I knew, and so she was succumbed to addiction. And she was an addict most of her life. She only was sober 18 months, and she had 2 kids, and by the way, they all are military who have graduated from military. One is now a master sergeant, senior master sergeant in the Army, and they've all turned out good because somebody reached out and touched and gave them a hand. I come from a very proud military family, retired in the retired in the Air Force, retired in the Marines and the Army, and I live with a veteran of the Vietnam War who was there 14 months. I live with him, and I live with him every day of what he went through those 14 months. So thank you for what you do for my country. We give back because we understand. The reason why I gave to the foundation, and we were asked to go to Australia and to talk about that. Why did we give? We give from a place of lack. We were poor, not poor, poor, okay? And we gave because we came from a place of not having. I remember that 9-year-old girl who came from a broken home. But from that broken home were a lot of things that I learned, and it learned how to reach out and touch. And so giving back is what I do. My husband, 14 in his family. Mother raised them, and I have to sit without welfare because you always associate that kind of stuff with poverty and people want something. Not so in every house. She raised 14 kids, and all of them have healthy work ethics. You work for what you get. But Walter remembers living in a 3-room house where there was about 8 or 9 of them sharing 2 beds. The things we carry with us. Right now, our bedroom is so big, he's never ever touch another wall. You can laugh because that's funny. I said, baby, why is bed so big? I don't want to touch nobody's feet or smell anything. The things we carry with us, we give because we understand our lack. I suggest to you that when we give of ourselves, we truly give. Khalil Gibran once said in his book From the Prophet, you give little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. So I ask of you to think of not only giving of your possession. Tom invited you all to come today and participate. Give of yourselves. Give of your time, your talents, and your abilities differently. Rotary is changing. We need to change with Rotary. You know, I come from a club that's old. It's 102, I think, years of age now. 1921, when that boy started, it was all men. 1960, I think it was, somewhere around there, we decided to diversify. And holy God, they chose me as president. Time has changed. Women are there. We're active. We're leading. Now we need that next generation of power. We need what they call diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now here is where everybody don't want to talk about that. Nobody want to talk about it. My husband said I need to sing this song before I start because I might get ran out the room. You don't have any music for this one. No man is an island. No man stands alone. Each man joy is joy to me. Each man grief is mine own. We need one another, so I will defend each man as my brother, each man as my friend. Now he had me to sing that because I'm going to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Most of us have relegated it to one thing, and that's race. It has nothing to do with it. It has to do with opening the door, recognizing the diversity of cultures, values, gifts, and talents. You know, when Kurt Driscoll in 2000 asked me to be over the diversity, equity, and inclusion in our district, I thought he had lost his mind too. Had Floyd on the floor, you had the police and the blacks and the white fighting in the streets about this. How am I going to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion when we were politically and socially divided in the United States of America? And I was divided too. So I had to go into the closet to really pray about this thing. So there was a small group of clubs that said we're willing to take this on in the district. We ask ourselves, are we what we say we are internally? What are our own values and beliefs, and how do we embrace the relationships of diversity, equity, and inclusion? Are we willing to embrace and engage change in our clubs, our communities, and doing the work internally? See, this is all about shifting internally how we see ourselves and how we view others in this society. So do we not have people here because their values and their culture and their customs are different? Now, I don't believe in, I'm married to a preacher. That's all I got to say about that. I'm married to a preacher. So y'all need to know where I am religiously, okay? And I said that because when we think about diversity and inclusion, we talk about bringing everybody in. And that means being open to people's values, different in their cultures. It's an internal work. It's something you got to do inside. So when we talk about that, we also talk about those gifts and talents and the ability to them to sit at the table, not in a room, but sit at the table, and decision-making be a part of that. And if we disagree, learn how to agree to disagree and yet have the integrity. It's talking about having difficult conversations. And we don't want to do that. But I've been called a communist, socialist, because I hold the tenets of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, you heard someone say that Jennifer Jones, the past international president, recognized me for the work. It was in the 7 areas of focus: economic stability. You see, as a Rotarian, I'm a member of my community, and I'm a member of Rotary. There was an incubator group in Thomasville called Spark Thomasville, and that group was responsible for starting work. Somebody got a phone going. Anybody know what it is? The work that was being done to help young entrepreneurs start their businesses, and it was for the underrepresented community, those people who were working out of their houses. I went to one Rotarian who was a banker. I went to another Rotarian who owned a company for public relations. And in the work that we've done, we were able to build a coalition from Rotary. And then Rotary gave money to this incubator where we bought books and we served as mentors. And over the last 4 years, we have 29 new entrepreneurs in Thomasville of the underrepresented population. Come on, give it up. That is working to help the underrepresented, underserved. Did I say anything about color in that? Say anything about race in that? We're talking about helping those who need help. Now, I know we're running out of time. I'm going to give you your time, but here's something I need you to think about. Culture, diversity, and inclusion calls for us to do internal work. What kind? We want to redeem, restore, and to renew people as a part of Rotary. That's what we do. We work to make a difference in the world. I suggest to you that you do the internal work. Now, I can stand up here and tell you, it hadn't been easy. And it's not going to be easy for any of us to do the work if we want to have difficult conversations, because that means we have to put ourselves out there and let people know what we really think. And then maybe try to listen to understand and then to be understood. That's so important. Listen to understand and to be understood. In the 1800s, there was a guy by the name of Simon D. Hadley. Simon D. Hadley is one of the founders of Thomasville. Simon D. Hadley is my great-great-grandfather. I might be your cousins. You can laugh at that. You know y'all kin to me. Now look at this. Simon D. Hadley was white. Do I look like that? Absolutely not. But if you don't look at the presence of, if you look at the presence of me and not the essence, you will see something else. But I had to own my history. Pebble Hill Plantation. Simon D. Hadley, go look him up. 21 children, Richard. I was one of them. And I had some people who didn't believe me. They go to book. Thomasville, Georgia. Now, when I found out that he was related to me, it was in the 70s. I used to remember as a little girl, they would say to me, Andre, when you go down to Freelanders, let them know you're Dennis Hadley's granddaughter. I didn't have a clue what that meant. But I knew that I was treated differently. I knew that I got things at a discount. Don't tell me that you don't get privileges for who you are. Let's own that and be okay with it. Nothing wrong with that. You give me a free ticket to the game, I'm going. You can laugh at that too. Stop trying to be so stuff up in here. Stop it. I'm here real and I need you to be real with me. There's nothing wrong with privilege. It's what we do with it that makes the difference. And how we treat people. Own the history that you have. Now, when I returned to Thomasville in the 70s from college, just for a weekend, I realized that my great aunt, was mentally ill. She was in an institution. No one told me the shame, the stigma. Gordon said, remove the shame and the stigma. We need to do that. I know we're running a little out of time, Tom, but I got to finish the story. Are y'all with me? Yeah. Are y'all with me? Yeah. Clap 2 times. That was Poe. Clap 2 times. Thank you. I'm about to through. With Simon D., this is what he did. He had me. Having me through that generation meant that I had to own that history. Now, when we were at Pebble Hill Plantation, where my grandfather worked for 57 years as a chauffeur, I call him a driver, and a dog keeper, they would return to the plantation and they would have a program for all the workers there. Even though my grandfather lived in the city, they had for all the workers there. I returned because we were a singing family, and we sang, and Christmas was the best music you could have. All of a sudden, the doors open wide, and they said, all rise. And there stand Miss Pansy. I wasn't standing up for a white woman. I thought that was stupid. I'm black. This is the civil rights, Martin Luther King. Black power. That's where I was. Equal rights for me. My auntie said, you need to stand up. I'm not standing up. I'm not standing up. Finally, my grandmother gave me the eye. Y'all know what the eye is. I stood up. Got down. Miss Pansy was giving out little packets of money, $5, $10. She got to me. She said, whose child are you? I said, I'm Dennis Hadley. I'm Morris Hadley child. She said, that should have meant something right there. So we get home. My grandmother takes me aside, and she's André. Did you not know that Miss Pansy, out of the 15 children I had, she sent half of them to college free? Wow. I had to make a mental adjustment. Wow. Blacks in the 30s and 40s going to college, just trying to figure out why my aunts and uncles had college degrees, but never, my granddaddy was poor. Never thought that someone helped him. And it was a woman of color. Do you think the civil rights movement was saved by one person that looked like me? Absolutely not. It was a diversified group of blacks and whites, Jews and Gentiles that fought for the civil rights movement. André had to make a shift in her thinking. She had to do her internal work to realize that all people who did not look like her were bad. We need to make a shift in Rotary as well, and how we look at diversity, equity, and inclusion, and realize that leadership must reflect the population it serves, give everyone an opportunity to have a seat at the table. Now, in my leaving you, I hope that you understand that it's not about anything but us working together. Together where we see a world where people unite to make lasting change across the globe, in the community, and in ourselves. I challenge you to do the internal work and take Rotary to the next level, and it will be a rainbow coalition in this world. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Andre, for both the challenge and the inspiration today, particularly sharing your personal story. We are going to place a children's book in our public library with your name in it as a recognition of today's event. So thank you, Andre. Going to ask Mia, how was the week? She had to leave? Okay. Next week's program will be Kendra Samarini, CEO, Piedmont and Compass Rehabilitation Center. And I'm going to ask Wayne to come up and lead us in the four-way test.
Will you stand, please, and join me in the four-way test? Knowing what is true. Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. You're dismissed.
Okay, Andre, thank you. No, but we have to